This video was never supposed to go viral. Seriously, there was no grand plan, no secret strategy, no rehearsed speech asking you to subscribe, and yet somehow it completely took over the internet. How does something like this even happen? Let's break down the anatomy of an accidental viral hit, because the story behind it is even crazier than the video itself. It started like any other day on the internet. Someone, somewhere, clicked upload. They probably leaned back in their chair, took a sip of coffee, and thought, all right, maybe a few of my friends will get a kick out of this. There was no fancy editing, no studio lighting, no trending soundtrack painstakingly chosen to game the system. It was just a simple, raw, and unfiltered piece of content, quietly joining the millions of other videos uploaded that very same day. It was a digital needle in an infinitely expanding haystack. The creator wasn't trying to become a star. They were just sharing a moment, completely unaware of the tidal wave that was about to form. For the first few hours, maybe even the first full day, nothing happened. The view count was embarrassingly low. 5 views, 10 views, 100. Most of them were probably the creator rewatching it to check for flaws. There might have been 1 or 2 early comments, something simple like LOL, or maybe, just maybe, one prophetic comment that simply said, underrated. The video was just sitting there, lost in the digital void. But then something shifted. Deep within the complex, mysterious heart of the YouTube algorithm, a switch was flipped. A digital eyebrow was raised. The algorithm, which usually rewards polish and perfection, paused, and leaned in for a closer look. It saw something. Maybe it was the watch time. Maybe it was the share rate among that tiny initial audience. Whatever it was, the machine decided this video had potential. Suddenly, it started appearing in recommended feeds. Notifications began to light up phones around the world. People, bored and scrolling, clicked play purely out of curiosity. And that initial curiosity quickly spiraled into a full-blown obsession. The spark had been lit. This is the point where the video stopped being just a video. It mutated. It evolved. It became a cultural artifact. First, it became a meme. People started screen-grabbing the best moments and plastering text over them. Then, it became a reaction clip. You'd see it pop up in other creators' videos as the perfect punchline. Soon after, the remixes began. People were adding new music, editing it in absurd ways, and creating their own spin. It became a running joke, an inside joke that suddenly everyone on the internet was in on. The comments section transformed into a battleground, a comedy club, and a philosophy forum all at once. People didn't just passively watch it anymore. They engaged with it. They shared it with their friends, saying, "You have to see this." They quoted its most memorable lines in completely unrelated conversations. They argued about its meaning, its implications, its very existence, with a passion usually reserved for sports or politics. It wasn't just content. It was a conversation starter. And then, the inevitable happened. The video escaped its original habitat. It broke free from the confines of YouTube. It started showing up on Twitter, condensed into a 30-second clip that went even more viral. It appeared on Instagram Reels and TikTok, set to a trending sound that had nothing to do with the original video but somehow worked perfectly. It was spammed in Discord servers and group chats. It was shared by massive influencer accounts that usually never post other people's content. Even your friends who proudly claim, "I don't really watch YouTube," somehow knew every single detail. They had seen it on their friend's Instagram story or a celebrity's retweet. The video had achieved true cultural saturation. It was no longer a YouTube video. It was just that video. Everyone knew which one you meant. It had become part of the internet's collective consciousness. This is where the numbers just stopped making any sense. 1,000 views became 100,000. 100,000 turned into 1,000,000. Then 10 million. Then 50. The view counter on the YouTube page seemed to be moving faster than logic, glitching as it struggled to keep up with the real-time onslaught of clicks. The comments section was a waterfall of text, refreshing itself every single second, with new reactions from all over the globe. The internet was collectively scratching its head, with the most common comment being, "Why is this so popular?" Or "How did this blow up?" And somewhere, the original creator was probably staring at their phone, watching the numbers skyrocket, and whispering to themselves, "I really should have fixed that one part in the middle. ... They were a passenger on a rocket ship they didn't even know they had built." With the explosion in views came overnight fame. Suddenly, everything changed for the person who had clicked upload. Their DIMs, which were once silent, were now an endless flood of messages from fans, from haters, from people asking for advice. Brands, smelling an opportunity, started appearing in their inbox with collaboration offers. News outlets and podcast hosts wanted interviews, all asking the same thing. What's your secret? And, of course, the most relentless question of all, from the newfound fanbase. When is part 2 coming out? The pressure was immense. All of this chaos, all of this attention, all of these expectations were born from one single, unexpected, and completely unplanned moment that was captured and shared with the world. Life would never be the same again. So, what was the twist? Why did this specific video, out of all the millions of polished high-budget productions, go viral? Here's the real secret. It wasn't because it was perfect. In fact, it was the opposite. It went viral because it felt real. It was relatable. It was messy, unpredictable, and authentic. In a world of perfectly curated online personas, this video was a breath of fresh air. It was an accident. And if there's one thing the internet loves more than a perfectly executed plan, it's a glorious, hilarious, and fascinating accident. That raw authenticity is what made people connect with it on a human level. It wasn't trying to sell you something or trick you into subscribing. It was just ... a moment. And that's a rare and powerful thing. Ultimately, the lesson here is simple. This video was never, ever supposed to go viral. The creator didn't think it would. The experts wouldn't have predicted it. But the internet, in its infinite and chaotic wisdom, decided otherwise. So if you're a creator out there and you're waiting for the perfect idea, the perfect script, the perfect lighting before you click upload, maybe you should just stop waiting. Perfection can be boring. Sometimes, the videos you least expect, the ones you almost delete, the ones that feel a little too raw or a little too weird, are the ones that end up changing everything. You never know what might connect. So, just hit record. Thanks so much for watching and thinking about this with me. If you enjoy diving into weird internet phenomena like this, consider subscribing for more. See you in the next one!